First time on the 36 with the Grip2. First real ride anyway. My first actual ride was kind of more of a little 200-yard scamper just to feel it out. I will say the small bump is really improved. I would say it's on par with the DVO Diamond that I had. And probably better than the Lyric I had, but that was the non-RC2 version. Looking at my ring, I'm not really blown through the travel a whole lot. This trail isn't too rough. It's got some decent hits on it, but kind of it's got that classic Fox mid-stroke support. And we're just kind of cruising. Hands don't feel worked. Kind of like what some old complaints about Fox forks is, or that they felt harsh on the hands. This one's feeling pretty comfortable so far. Whew, haven't been here in a while. This is Mount Spokane. We're on Trail 140. We started at the very top. There used to be a lot of trees here. And it's all clear. It looks and feels kind of weird. But overall, I'm really enjoying the Grip2 36. I think this is going to be a great fork. Lots of improvements so far. I'll probably follow this up with a long-term review, probably after a bit. Got a race in September that I'm going to throw this through, and a couple bike park days where this bike will really shine. So overall, digging it.
So to re-summarize my experience with this fork, I would say small bump sensitivity is vastly improved on this fork. So my last 36 I had was a 2016, still had the older air spring model where it had like the connector shaft all the way up here, down here. Long story short, I didn't like it. I found it very harsh, could never use full travel, could never get it set up right. It seemed like it was always wanting to be below Fox's recommended settings. Hated it. So also tried Lyrics. I had the DVO Diamond previously, which a lot of you will know very well. So going bit by bit, Grip2 damper, small bump sensitivity, vastly improved. I would say it matches or slightly improves upon the best setting I could tune on my DVO Diamond, which is the benchmark in terms of small bump sensitivity for me. Could be better ones out there, but I haven't tried them, so this is just from what I had used. I would say mid-stroke support is that classic Fox mid-stroke support. So it's going to go through and use the first 2-3 inches of travel very smoothly. Then it's going to kind of keep you in that middle area, keep your bike a little bit flatter plane when you're going through rough stuff. But I didn't get that overly harsh feeling in my hands like I did with like my previous Fox and some other forks. So it's still got that support, but it still kind of gives a little bit in that mid-stroke area. Now, in terms of the end stroke, now this is where a lot of Foxes are known to, I wouldn't call it an issue, but I would say Foxes are known to not give that up very easily. So I had this bike on everything from just mellow flow trails near my house, my test trail that you see a lot of my bike review videos on, And I recently took it to our bike park. Didn't get to do any big jumps or drops, but definitely rougher terrain, lots of roots, lots of rocks, and this is about all I could muster. So I still have about, well, let's see. I don't have my calipers, but just with my tape measure, I would say I have about 1.25 inches of unused travel. And so coming from a bike park, you'd think you'd like to use a little bit more, but I would say to describe how Fox's new forks use their travel is it's very efficient. Again, not using this little bit didn't really hurt the hands very much. The bike still felt very composed. Still going to be experimenting. I'm very new to this fork still, so tuning is still going to be a process. May hook up a shock whiz to it and see what it recommends. And then also, base settings is base settings. I try to run things off feel and sag, so I may even go back and try and do like a sag tune test versus just like a fork sticker recommendation test. And see how I can get the fork to feel, maybe by bumping up compression a little bit, but letting a little bit more air out. We'll have to see. So overall, love the fork. It's a classic Fox, very stiff. Again, the 36 millimeter stanchions on this guy, cast magnesium lowers. Another cool thing that is available now for a lot of these Fox forks is, let's see if I can find mine. Oh, it's hanging up. Syncrusts, you can find them in a lot of US dealers now, make a molded mudguard or fender for the Fox Boost 36 and 34 forks. So this will clip and screw in right here. It's kind of almost like the DVO mudguard. I would say between the two, here's my old one. The DVO, I would say, is probably at least 50% thicker. I mean, this thing is very hard to flex, whereas this guy is a little bit more flexy. So I would say this is going to land right in between like your $15 zip tie mudguard and like the DVO mudguard. But it's nice. It's going to add some nice protection to your frame and also look good doing it. So I'll be doing a long-term review as I get more time on it, but I just wanted to give you my initial impressions. Now, as my title indicates, I do want to say one thing, and this is where the buyer beware part comes in. So, per Fox's tuning manual, they state that the high-speed compression clicks have 16 clicks of high-speed compression. Mine, out of the box, had like 30 or 32. So, there is a forum post on it on MTBR. Scrolled through that, a lot of other people's experiences, experiencing the same. Long story short, I ended up sending my fork back in even before I wrote it. They got it, and I had to call and see, what the status of it was, and they said, "Oh, well, you got a damper swap." And I responded back, "Well, can you tell me why?" No response. So they swapped out my damper. And I got it back. I still have like 20 or 22 clicks of high-speed compression. Looking at some more forum posts, other people's experiences, sending their forks back into Fox, saying some people are saying they're getting them back with only 16 clicks. Some people are getting them back with about the 20 to 22 with a soft stop. And Fox has revised their tuning recommendations on their website. However, it still contradicts kind of what some techs that you speak to from Fox say. So I don't know where to go from here. Some people are saying there's not going to be a recall because there's no safety issue involved. So I don't know. All I can say is I did get a new damper. That is per Fox. It still feels good. So there's that. And I will keep playing with it and tune it how I tune it. Whether it was with a shock whiz or just doing repeated laps and hammering those out, I will live with it because bottom line, it is a great fork. And I would say I prefer it a little bit over to my DBO Diamond, partially because A, you get a little bit less offset options, the stiffness, and again, that vastly improved small bump sensitivity and that mid-stroke support. I can't say for me how much more confidence inspiring it is to be able to just be a little bit more level when it's steep or when it's really rough versus feeling like your front end's going to grab into a hole or something. So there's that bit. If you have more questions about the whole damper thing, just let me know in the comments. If you have more questions regarding the fork and stuff, let me know as well. I am going to have a separate video on the fork offset. So if you have a lot of questions on that, feel free to ask, but just to let you know, there is going to be another video on that soon. So thanks for watching the video. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with me during your time, and we'll see you next time.